muscles in the back of your body that we're going to focus on today. And one of the things that happens in our body, especially if we're on a computer for a long period of time or just hunched, you know, we have this kind of hunched posture where we slouch. The muscles in the back of our body tend to get very long and have to hold us in a long space. This is called an eccentric contraction. When the muscle is long, like your bicep is long versus short, and has to hold you in that eccentric contraction. And this is very challenging for our muscles. So the muscles behind in the back of us, when we slump over, can get weak from lack of proper use in, you know, flowing concentric and eccentric contractions. So I'm going to show you, so here it goes, let's see if we can make it work. And you just tell me if this is not showing up on your screen. Ooh, how do I make it big? Hold on. I want to drag the whole thing over, and I can't because I can't access the, there we go. Perfect. Okay, can everybody see it? Give me a thumbs up. And I can see you. Perfect, unless I see you too. Okay, so here's the back of the body, right? Everybody got that? Like, here's your front and here's your back. And here are your shoulder blades or your scapula. And I'm gonna add some muscles onto it. And it's kind of cool to watch this because there's so many different layers of muscles in your body. These long skinny ones right here that go down your back, these are the multifidus, if you've heard me talk about them in the past. And here are some of the muscles we're going to start working with today. This is your infraspinatus, this one right here, and this is your teres, which are part of your rotator cuff. This one up here is your supraspinatus. Don't worry about the names, but this is just your part of your rotator cuff. It attaches onto your scapula. And then you have all these crazy muscles, right, along your spine to help keep you erect and standing. But these are, look at layer upon layer, so many layers. And these are the ones I want to focus on today. So these are your rhomboids right here. They attach to your spine and to the inner edge of your shoulder blade. They're sometimes called the Christmas tree muscles because they kind of look like a drawing of a Christmas tree. Can everybody see that a little bit? So this is your rhomboid minor up here, and this is your rhomboid major. It doesn't really matter. They're just a group of muscles, and their action is to pull. You can imagine if they shorten, they pull the shoulder blade toward the spine. And that action is called retraction, which we're going to work with today a lot. And then also it can help you, you know, it helps other muscles too. So it can be synergistic with a lot of different actions in the body, not just pulling the shoulder blades toward the spine. So this muscle right here, your infraspinatus, also is very much involved in preventing you from, ooh, let me move the whole guy over, from doing the slumped posture, you know, where you move this part of your arm bone forward. If you do that, this muscle can tend to get very weak. So you can see how when this shortens, it would pull the head, here's your arm bone, it would pull the head of your arm bone back. So the rotator cuff, the back side of the rotator cuff and your rhomboids work together along with your lats. These are your lats right here, your big strong lats. This is, you know, obviously a huge, some people call them angel wings. It's a huge muscle in your body. So we're going to work a little bit with that today. So there's your anatomy lesson. There's going to be a test later. So hopefully everybody, no, I'm kidding there. You know, I like to use the visual, not necessarily for you to remember muscles or, you know, where things are, but to just really get a visual sense when we're trying to visualize inside our body what we're working with. Sometimes it's helpful to have that available to us. Okay, so now we're back to do some yoga. All right, so close your eyes, sit up straight and tall, and just take a moment to allow yourself to notice when you're sitting. So if you're up on something, that can be helpful. If you're up on the little ledge of a pillow or a blanket, sometimes it can help you not slump so much. So what would it feel like, instead of feeling like, sometimes when we try to not slump, we just focus on the chest, right? We lift the chest up and we try to kind of lift our sternum toward the sky and puff out like a bird puffs out its feathers out in front. So instead of working so much from the front of the body to keep yourself from slouching, let's focus on the back of the body. So visualize those rhomboid muscles on your back. Visualize the back side of your rotator cuff. And everybody flip your palms open on your lap or wherever they are. And for a moment, let's just, with our elbows bent by our sides, just bring your palms. I'll stand up so you can see me. Bring your palms out to the sides like this. Okay. And just for a moment, notice what's alive in the back of your body when you do this. And just kind of go back and forth, holding some platters in your hands. And just waking up the rotation of the humerus bone in your shoulder joint. Okay. So let's just go ahead and pause that now. Rest your hands, but see if you can keep that action of the platters open. And now just get the sense that you can have little race cars running down your back from the base of your skull down to the tail. So you have this kind of downward energy along the back spine. And this will help you drop the shoulder blades down, perhaps just a little bit. So just notice, are you a little bit more alive in the back of your body? And now notice where you're tense. Okay, so relax the head, maybe bobble it around a little bit. Notice if any of these actions pushed your rib cage way forward and out of joint. See what it feels like to melt the bottom low rib cage in just a bit. And feel that sense of integration. Now soften everywhere. See if you can imprint that, but then soften. Take a deep breath. Let the breath fill you up. Let your diaphragm move. Reduce the guarding around holding yourself in this way. And relax your eyes. Relax your jaw. Soften like your head is just resting very gently on top of a support, that you don't have to grip your neck to hold your head up. Relax your hands, relax your elbows, let them drop. And just notice if your chest is naturally a little bit more broad across the front from being aware of the back of your body. Can you let the collarbones stretch out like a morning stretch away from each other? Can you feel the open front doors of your heart kind of, pull back the curtains and let the sun in? And then what would you do with this open heart? What would you do with this support of the back body? If there's anything that your heart has to say to the world, just offer it now. Offer what it is that you want to bring out, bring forth within you. Notice how different this feels, how increased capacity you have versus the slump. So I almost hesitate to tell you to do it, but just slump for a moment. Round shoulders, round back, maybe the head drops down. And just notice if your heart just closed up shop, right? Closed for business today. So the back body is really important for our energetic body. It's not only just to keep our spine in good shape, but our energy body really depends on all of us supporting ourselves. So let's bring the palms together at the heart. Stretch your collarbones again. Feel the back body. Lift the sternum just a teeniest bit. Not so much that you push out like bird feathers puffed up. Just enough to feel that you're open. Then bow your head into that space and offer an intention. What could you do if your heart was open all day today? What would happen? And then let's release the hands and let's come on to our back. Okay. So lie down. Okay. Find the sense of connection with the whole of you. So as you lie down on the floor, stretch out your arms and your legs. Get that feeling that you're broad and wide and big. Arms and legs apart, away from the midline. Then stretch your navel to your edges. And while you're here, squeeze everything you got. So take a deep breath in and squeeze all your muscles that you have access to in your body. Just tell the body it's time to wake up. And then relax Rest that and bring your knees into your chest. Kind of rock around a little bit. See what your back's feeling like today. Feel free to circle a few times. You can kind of go one direction. You can kind of go another direction. Okay. Let's repeat. So arms and legs wide on the floor. Everything out. And then exhale, pick up your head this time, squeeze in, this time all your air out, and squeeze, 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 squeeze from your eyes to your feet and everything in between. And then relax and rest your head down onto the ground. Take your arms out to a cactus on the floor, and this is a really good initial assessment to just see how contracted you are in that slouched posture. So the part of your rotator cuff that opens this way can get tight, your subscapularis. So just notice if your wrists don't touch the floor, if your hands don't touch the floor or your wrists don't touch the floor, you're kind of tight in there. So that's just good information. If you've had a rotator cuff injury in the past, that might contribute to this. So also notice if you have one hand that easily goes down and one hand that doesn't. So you might notice that there's not symmetry in the body, and that's okay. So just be where you are. You don't have to force or do anything with this. It's just noticing what the body is naturally open for. Take a deep breath one more time. Arms and legs stretching wide. Exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Curl in, and let's roll over onto our side and come up onto our hands and our knees. So as we find our way into some cat-cow, so we're just waking up the body. So just take your time to feel the spine as you round the back, and as you arch the back, notice all the little vertebrae and all the little gaps between the vertebrae. See what you're sensing, what opens easily, what maybe is a little bit snug up and cautious in the body. And when we have caution in the body, usually it's for a purpose, right? We've either patterned ourselves that way for some reason, or we've injured ourselves. So have kindness and respect instead of a bullying attitude toward trying to make your body change. So subtleness and patience go a long way. All right, so feel free to swirl through your hips, swirl through your shoulders, look out over each side, whatever's going to help your back loosen up for today. Okay, feel free to move your head around, anything that you want. All right, now let's stretch back towards child's pose, and perhaps it feels comfortable for you to have a big anterior tilt to the pelvis, and perhaps you'd rather not. So just see what feels natural and good to you as you come down. If your knees aren't happy in this and you're forward a little bit, that's okay. Just go where you go. Find your breath. We're going to walk our hands over to the side of our mat, opening up the side body. See if you can peek out through the windows of your ribs. Relax the base of your skull. All right, then go ahead and come back to center and go over to the other side. So feeling the spaciousness through the sides of the body, breathing deeply. Adjust your arms at any place that needs adjusting. So if you have pain in a shoulder and need to back off something, that's totally fine. All right, and then come back to center. Let's come up onto all fours. Let's find our twist. As we inhale to lift the arm up, feel the shoulder blade on the back. And then exhale and slide that arm under and feel the space between your shoulder blades broaden. So this is a great way to stretch your rhomboids, those muscles between your shoulder blades. So the more you push your hand into the floor, the deeper it will go into that spaciousness. Imagine your shoulder blades moving away from your spine. Notice your breath. Take a deep inhale and feel that be enhanced, that feeling of stretching there, be enhanced. And then inhale and come back up, bring the arm back to the sky, place the hand down onto the ground and change sides. Arm up, feel the shoulder blade, hang out there for a moment, feel the shoulder blade hug onto the back a little bit, and then exhale and drop that shoulder down. Make sure your neck is nice and relaxed so you can gaze toward the floor. Press your hand into the ground, move the shoulders away from the ears. Find your breathing body. Feel the space between the shoulder blades here. So even if, think less about, oh, I gotta do something, more just about sensing, what are you feeling in the space where your rhomboids live? Can you feel your rhomboids? Your Christmas tree muscles. And then inhale and bring that arm all the way back up and place the hand down onto the ground. So we're going to come into bird dog in a little bit different of a way. So 2 hands and knees on the ground to begin. And we're going to take our left leg straight back behind you. Stabilize through your core, so find that cylinder of support. And instead of bringing our arm out in front of us, we're going to bring our arm behind us. Everybody turn your palm toward the floor so that your thumb is pointing out away from your body. And then lift your tricep just a little bit higher than your spine. Okay, just notice the back side of that shoulder blade. See if you can keep stabilizing through the core of the body. Find the length of your spine. Stretch all the way to your heel. And then we're going to release that down onto the ground and change sides. And by the way, this is a great way of doing bird dog if you have trouble lifting your arm over your head. If that hurts your shoulder, you can always do bird dog like this. So right leg straight back behind you. And when you're ready and feeling stable, left arm as well. So notice palm down. Notice the difference. When you turn your palm up, you internally rotate your upper arm bone. When you turn your palm toward the floor, you externally rotate the upper arm bone. So see what that feels like. Feel the engagement of that infraspinatus, the back side of the rotator cuff, and play around if you want. Turn your palm up. Notice that quiets that muscle. Turn your palm down. Notice that awakens that muscle. So just find your breath. Extend the spine. And then when you're ready, go ahead and place the hand back down. Let's just have a cat-cow. Find that sense of symmetry, balance through the left sides, right sides. And then as you're ready, let's find our way up to dog pose. Spread out the hands and the feet. So a way to turn on some of the muscles in your torso is to isometrically hug your hands toward each other. So just feel that. Let go of that. Don't move your hands toward each other. And notice what's turning on in the back of your body. And then hug your hands toward each other on the mat. Nothing's going to actually move. But just notice your lats start to kick in those angel wing muscles on your back. They're so broad and big. See if you can feel them engage. Finding your breath. Extending. Feel free to pedal out your feet. Move around. Breathe. Bending your knee. All right. Relax your head. Deep full inhale. Deep full exhale. What does it feel like to spread the collarbones? To feel the shoulder blades hug just a little bit toward each other on the back. All right, then walk your feet forward and come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Bend your knees as much as you want to. Let the back body open and stretch. Remember all those muscles you saw that kind of trailed the spine, along the spine, let all of them open. Inhale for a halfway lift. Spine gets longer. You can hold your thighs or your shins or blocks. Exhale and melt back down. Rise up, arms to the sky. Take a deep breath here. Lengthen through your body. And as you're ready, we're going to do some cactus arms here. So imagine that you have a chin-up bar that you're holding onto, and just pull your arms down. So you can either imagine pulling yourself up, or better yet, imagine pulling the bar down. Okay, so the palms are out. Let's just do this a few times with the breath. Arms up, arms down. Now you might notice that you might want to have your arms out and put your elbows in front of you. See what you can do to keep the elbows in line with the torso, and notice if you're back to that tightness where the hands roll forward. So just do what you can to try to keep your elbows and your hands in line with your shoulders, and you can even curl your hands around that imaginary bar to get that feeling of flat pull downs. Okay. Couple more times. Exhaling down. It's amazing what you can do with your imagination. Doesn't everybody feel like they're actually pulling some weight? All right, now we're gonna round in Elbows come toward each other, round the back. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Inhale, open the chest, shoulder blades toward each other, and just go back and forth with breath. Try hard not to do this where you're arching the low back to get into the pose. See if you can keep the lower body stable and let the upper back do the rounding and the arching. Okay? And if this gets tiring for your shoulder, bring your arms straight out or even down to do this. All right, and then reach the arms up. Exhale and melt. Come forward into a forward fold. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and release. Back down. Let's step the left foot forward, the right foot back. Come into a lunge. So blocks are nice if you have them. Now's a good time to go get them. All right, so we're not going to forget about the rest of our body, even though we're focusing on the rhomboids today. Extend the spine, and let's start moving here. Waking up the legs, drop the head. Deep breath in as you bend your knee and open the chest. Exhale, square the hips. That's what I like to do. That's how I like to breathe. But maybe you like to breathe differently. Just keep breathing. All right, and then let's pause in the lunge, extending the heart forward. Bring both arms back. So our torso is going to stay low toward our leg. And let's try the same thing. So see what it feels like to have your palms turned up toward the sky. And what happens? Your shoulders probably round in and forward. Turn the palms down toward the floor. The shoulder blades move toward each other, and that's called retraction, when the shoulder blades move toward each other. Now try to marry that with the front body support. So engage through your core. So in this way, we kind of have a lot of stabilization along the spine with the core and the back core. You know, sometimes you can consider this the back core of the body. Inhale and rise up. Bring your arms to the sky. Come into Crescent Lunge. And we're going to just move a little bit through here. So we're going to push like we're pushing a wall away or a car away. And then back, elbows come back. You can take fists if you want. And just go back and forth like this. Opening the chest, shoulder blades move toward each other. Sometimes I've heard people say, imagine squeezing a pencil between your shoulder blades. But I feel like that can get pretty intense where you're just pushing the front ribs forward. So let the action be that you're trying to bring the shoulder blades toward each other, but not so much where you lose the integrity of the front body. All right, and then come forward again. Rise up, reaching through the spine. And then exhale and lower your hands down to the ground. Back foot comes forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt. Other foot back. So now our left foot is forward and our right foot is back. Coming into a lunge. Let's start straightening and bending. Finding your breath. So as you do this, remember that, you know, it's okay to let the spine, it's not like you never want the spine to be rounded. I know that we, you know, often kind of make sure that we're always extending the spine, but it's okay to have a little bit of rounding here and there. You just don't want to live there. All right, reach the spine. We're going to take our arms back behind us. Experiment with a little bit of turning the palms up and turning the palms down. And let that action not just be in the wrists, let it be in the shoulders. Extending the spine, stabilizing through your legs. And then pause with your palms facing down. Move the shoulders down, the shoulder blades down the back, bring them toward each other. Support with the front body. And then as you're ready, we're gonna come up to Crescent Lunge, reaching the arms to the sky, finding your breath. Opening some things up, and then we're going to find that sense of pushing and pulling. So push away, you find your breath. I like to inhale as I pull my arms back, or maybe you like to exhale when you do that. Okay, so whatever works for you. Back and forth. Remember, we're not crunching through the lumbar spine. We're keeping stable so our core is fully active here. So experiment with your breath. What feels most natural to you? Okay. And then when you're ready, lift the arms up, up, up. Stabilize through your core. And then release the hands down onto the ground. Let's go ahead and come back onto all fours. Have a moment of a cat-cow. And then we're going to find our way to a plank. So remember, if your shoulders don't like planks, there's something to be done halfway between. So you can be on all fours. You can be in a plank. You can also put your knees down, but just further back so they're not right underneath your hips. And this will give you a little extra work to be done without putting all your weight on your shoulders, okay? So while you're here, whatever you're choosing, can you feel the shoulder blades? Can you imagine that you're hugging the hands toward each other on the mat to feel your lats engage, but at the same time, imagine what it might feel like to keep the shoulder blades moving toward each other. So have a little sense of pushing the floor away and bringing the shoulder blades toward each other. A little balance between the two. All right, let's put our knees down and come all the way to the floor. Take a deep breath, cobra pose, open the chest, and come back down. Turn your head for a moment. We're gonna bring our palms down at our sides. Palms are facing the floor. So this is that same action. So everybody turn your palms up, away from the ground, up toward the sky, and notice what happens in your shoulders. Do you tend around? And when we're lying on our belly, this can feel good. It's soothing, right? It's like supportive to feel yourself kind of round into the floor. But for our purposes today, turn the palms down and feel some activity in the shoulder blades. Take a deep breath in here, exhale. Make sure your exhales are giving you your core strength. Okay, so next time you breathe, we're going to inhale to lift ourselves up so our legs and our arms are going to come up. The back of the neck stays long. The palms are facing the floor. Feel the heads of the arm bones lift away from the ground and externally rotate. Support through your core to balance the work of the shoulder blades. All right, and then relax. Turn your head the other way. Finding your breath. Okay, now this next one, you can either repeat that the way we just did that with our palms down toward the floor and our arms down at our sides, or if you want to bring your arms into a cactus, like we were doing when we were in the air before, you can try the back bend here. So take a deep breath in and lift anything you're lifting up. So perhaps it's just your upper body and not your legs. You breathe and do you. Back of the neck stays long. Feel the core support you along with the shoulder blades firm on the back, moving toward each other. All right, and then relax. Come up onto all fours. You can shake your hips left and right, do some little circles, some fishtails, you know, you're just swimming. Whatever feels good. Finding your breath. Come up to dog pose when you're ready. Pedal out your feet. Feel the openness in your legs. Hug your hands toward each other on the mat and see if you can get the sense that you're lifting your biceps up toward the sky and rolling your triceps under. So you can experiment by bending your elbows for a moment and then swoop your elbows toward each other underneath, then start to straighten your arms. So as your biceps lift up and your triceps roll under, you might lose contact with the index finger mound because you're going into that external rotation. So balance that by grounding the index finger mound into the floor at the same time as externally rotating the upper arm bones. Hug your hands toward each other. Find your breath. Make sure you're not locking out your elbows. Feel how active your back body is. All right, let's walk our feet forward. Come into Uttanasana. Fold in half. Relax your head, gobble it around. Inhale and rise up, reaching the arms to the sky. Relax your arms down at your sides. Interlace your hands behind your back. Just give a little bit of opening, moving the heads of the arm bones back behind the heart, opening the chest. If your elbows tend to lock out, just have a teeny bit of softness in there. Maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you're very loose and you want to bend forward and reach the arms over your head. So you get to do you, whatever feels best. And then let's release that. Shrug your shoulders up toward the ears. And then let's do a few rounds of some movement. Just feel how much your shoulder blades move on the back. All right, so let's go ahead and turn to the long edge of your mat. And we're going to come to the wide stance, okay? Bring your hands, palms facing up, with your hands straight out in front of you. Let's turn our hands out so we're holding two platters and put a little weight in your platters. Imagine you're holding like a rock in each hand or something. You don't have to glue your elbows to your sides, but just have that sense that you're externally rotating the arm bones, dropping the shoulder blades down the back, feeling the collarbones stretch wide, and then at the same time engaging a bit on the exhales with your core. Let the inhales be free and find your strength on your exhales. Let's turn our feet, relax your arms for a moment, bring your arms straight up in the air, and as you exhale, go ahead and come into warrior two. And you can find, we haven't done much to open the hips yet, so if you want to move a little bit to find your way, feel free to move a little bit to find your way. Okay. And then once you're here, remember that action that we had in dog pose where we were trying to roll the biceps up and the triceps under and press through the index finger mounds? Do the same thing here. Find your breath. Notice what that feels like. Stretch from your sternum to your hands. Find your legs. Don't forget about your legs. And then we're going to switch the arms. Turn your palms up. Feel how much easier it is to keep the arm bones, the heads of the arm bones, drawing into some external rotation. Find your breath, and now drop down into your platters. So as you bring the elbows down, slide the shoulder blades down and toward each other. And then keep the palm up, slide the hand down on your leg, palm up, reach the arm to the sky, and then straighten your leg. And turn your feet the other way. And just find the same pose on the second sides. So depending on your hips, you might need to turn a fair amount. So this pose does not have to be facing forward. You can turn a bit. Remember that whatever you're doing with your arms, it has to match your chest. So if you're turning your pelvis in this posture, you know, if you have to turn your hip to have your stability of your front knee, then let your arms be following your chest. Don't turn your arms back this way if your torso has turned toward your leg. Find a little movement if you need it. Reach your arms up. And then same thing, arms out to the sides. Drop the shoulders down. Try to open up the biceps. Lift them toward the sky. Triceps roll under. Index fingers. See if you can feel the root of your index fingers. Just have like a little pressure, like you're hitting the elevator button. And drop the shoulders. Find your breath. And then let's turn the palms over. And notice what happens. Can you feel the action of the shoulder blades? Do your ribs pop out? Can you draw them in with the core strength on your exhales? And let's come into some platters. Elbows down. Spin your hands open to wherever they comfortably go. Put a little weight. Find your breath. And we're going to slide the hand down. Reach the arm up. Palms are open. And then we're going to straighten our leg and turn our feet to the long edge of your mat and come down to rest for a moment. Relax your arms. Let your arms be very passive here. Maybe your elbows can flop a little bit. Just feel a sense of ease. All right, and then let's heel toe your feet in. Come back to center, come up to stand. So we're still going to do a little bit of work, but just a little break going in the other direction. Eagle arms is a great way to spread the shoulder blades on the back. So instead of retracting the shoulder blades, now we're protracting the shoulder blades. So take your right arm over your left arm, drop the shoulders, lift the chest, pick up your elbows, lift them up a bit, and pull them away from your body. Finding your breath here, we're going to add the legs. So we're going to stand on our right leg, and we're going to lift our left leg up and cross it over. Keep facing forward. Don't worry if you need to touch the ground with your foot. Anything that helps your balance. So I'd rather you keep your arms and under your legs, just for today's class, if your balance is not here for you. Find your breath. And then we're going to unwind that. Lift your knee up. Stretch back behind you. Allow your elbows to move toward the floor as you bring your leg back. Virabhadrasana, 3 legs. Deep breath. Take a giant step back. You can put your heel down or just your toes down. Elbows lift up. And then unwind your arms. Lift them to the sky. Exhale. Bring your back foot forward. Inhale for a halfway lift. Exhale and melt back down. Climb up. Finding your breath again. Okay, second side. So let's do the arms first. So now we're going to have the left arm over the right arm. Shoulders away from the ears, elbows up and away from the body. We're going to stand on the left leg, cross the right leg over. Once again, if you need to not do the legs, that's so fine. Okay. Find eagle pose if you can. You can even just lift the knee up and not cross it. Now feel the little lymph squeezing here. So squeeze your groin, squeeze your armpits, squeeze your elbows. Such a good pose for your lymph. Okay, and then we're going to unwind the legs. Lift that knee, stretch back. It does not matter how low to the ground your torso goes. You could be up here like this, where you're just extending. Find whatever way the pose works for your body. The hips are square, the core is engaged. And then we're going to take a big giant step back. The heel can come down for Vira 1, or the heel can be lifting up for Crescent Lunge. Reach the elbows. And then relax. Bring your arms to the sky. Place the hands down onto the ground. Back foot comes forward. Grab onto your elbows and just relax. This is a whole lot of work. So notice if you're starting to get fatigued in your arms and shoulders. Find your breath. All right, and then inhale and come on up. Just do a few shoulder rolls. We have a couple more things to do for your shoulders. Deep breaths. Turn the palms out. Even this is something so simple you can do if you feel like you've been slouching. Just standing and turning the palms out can be enough sometimes to train the body to go the other way. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and come down onto the ground. All right, so we're going to come into a forearm plank. We won't hold it too long, but I want you to focus a little differently than we sometimes do. So instead of having the hands facing down, we're going to do this with our palms up. So we're going to have our platters here. Now this might feel really weird to you, and if it's too much external rotation for you to feel stable, try turning your hands together. You can also do this with a block between your hands if you have a block. Sometimes having something to hug against can make your shoulders feel super good. Okay, so that's a choice. This is a choice. Whatever is going to be helpful for you. Now remember, just like in a regular plank, you can keep your knees down and walk your knees back a little bit. You can lift your knees up off the floor and see what it feels like to stretch your palms and then hug your elbows toward your feet. See if you can feel the shoulder blades balance the front body. So of course your core is turned on, but feel the shoulder blades move toward each other at the same time. Finding your breath. And then relax. Put your knees onto the ground. Bring your arms down at your sides. Palms facing down. One last back bend here. Open things up. Stretch your arms, lift arms and legs, back of the neck stays long. And then exhale and release. Come up or come back, either onto all fours and do some cat-cows, or come back into child's pose if your body likes that. And then we're gonna come into Dandasana, staff pose. So I like to be on the edge of a blanket for this. You can be on whatever you want. You can also be on the floor, 2 legs straight out. Kids sit like this so easily. If you look at young children, they can sit with an erect spine and their legs out in front of them seemingly forever. Now we try to sit like this for a little bit and we're gonna eventually slump. Probably within like 10 seconds, if you weren't thinking about it, you'd start slumping. So if you have a lot of support underneath you, you're gonna need blocks. If you only have a little bit of support underneath you or none, you probably won't need blocks for this. So we're gonna have the upright spine. Take a deep breath, reach your arms to the sky. Feel all the muscles along your back engage. All right, and then we're gonna bring our hands onto the floor. If you're high on a perch, you can bring your hands on blocks. They're a little too high for me to make my shoulders go up, but you decide what feels good to you. The other thing you can do is just for this portion, get off your props and just be on the floor, since we won't be here long. My point is you need good contact with your hands on the floor. So find the long spine. Your knees can bend a little bit here. They don't have to be straight on the ground. And then isometrically pull your hands apart from each other on the mat. Nothing's actually gonna move, but just notice all the muscles in the back of your body. See if you can start to spin, relax for a moment. With your hands, spin jar lids. So your hands are on the floor like this, and we're gonna isometrically not only pull them apart from each other, but we're gonna isometrically rotate them outward, okay? So those 2 actions, make sure your elbows are not locking out. Those 2 actions simultaneously. Soft elbows, heads of the arm bones back, collarbones broad, knees can bend, okay? Pull your hands away from each other with your elbows loose and spin your jar lids. Okay, and just notice what's turning on. Your knees can be bent. All right, and then relax. Okay. Go ahead, we're almost ready to come down onto the ground, but not quite yet. So go ahead and come standing up, and you can do this sitting. I'm gonna show this a little closer. So you can, everybody stay standing. I'm sitting because otherwise you won't see my head. But you can do this sitting down. So like at your desk, if you're computing away for hours, and then you're like, oh my God, I'm totally locked up. This is a simple thing you can do at your desk. So if you interlace your hands and put them on top of your head, once again, we don't want our elbows coming in. We want to try to broaden our elbows, being mindful that we're not pushing our floating ribs out while we do this. Once we get comfortable, so you don't have to be so extreme where you're tensing the back of your neck, but try not to be so far forward. So find a comfortable place that's easy and gentle. And then I want you to press your hands into your head and your head into your hands. So don't forget about the rebound. You need to have even weight through your head and your hands. Feel the muscles of your shoulder, feel the rhomboids. Kick them in, retract the shoulder blades toward each other. Do not let the pressure of your hands be stronger than the pressure of your head. Let your head win. And then relax. You can move your head around if you felt like your hands won a little bit. Give your neck a little ease. Shrug your shoulders up. A few big circles or small circles. So you can have giant circles or little circles or middle circles. Just finding your way. All right, so we're going to come down onto your back. And we're going to come into bridge pose. This is a wonderful pose for teaching the rhomboids what to do. Okay. So we're going to start this a little differently than we sometimes do. Forget about interlacing your hands underneath you. So often when we pick up our pelvis and we interlace our hands underneath us, we round our shoulders forward. It's a rare person that can maintain that and still open into external rotation. So we're going to take that piece of the equation out of the puzzle so we don't accidentally internally rotate. So palms are facing down. Palms are facing up. Try to get your index fingers and your thumbs to come toward the floor instead of just, sort of toward the floor. So stretch your hands. Feel the heads of the arm bones reach into the ground. You might even need to pick up your shoulders so that you can slide your shoulder blades toward each other, starting already to engage the rhomboids. Notice if you feel like your ribs are popping out. It's okay to feel like this because we're about to come up and then everything's going to change. Take a deep breath. We're going to lift our pelvis and try it one more time. Bring the shoulder blades toward each other. Externally rotate the arm bones. Have contact with your index finger and thumbs. If your arms don't like this, you can do it with elbows and open your platters. Your platters won't go far, but just have the action of your platters, even if your elbows are bent. See what it feels like to make sure you're not hyperextending your elbows if your hands are down. Peek open the inner edges of your humerus bones, the ones that usually face your armpits. Let them rise up and out to the sides like they're taking a look around. Finding your feet, don't forget your legs. Make sure your neck is soft. Don't let your neck push into the ground. Have the back of your head have a little firm weight on it. All right, let's go ahead and relax and come out of there. Bring your arms wherever is comfortable. You can cactus them, you can bring them out to the sides, you can have them close to your body, just rest them for a moment. All right, the last thing we're gonna do to open them up a little bit differently, you need a block for this. So it's okay if you have a blanket or something, but a block's better. We're gonna take the block widthwise in between our shoulder blades. So not like carpet bench where we have it long, widthwise. If you need a blanket underneath your head, you can do that. So this is going to be in between your shoulder blades, supporting both shoulder blades. The head's gonna come back. If you don't like that, put your head on something. Your knees can be bent. You can do whatever you want with your legs. They can be straight or bent. Interlace your elbows. So hold your hand to the outside of either elbow, okay? And then stretch your arms up over your head. Now maybe they get to your forehead, maybe they don't get to your forehead, maybe they go past your forehead. But just see what it feels like to slide the shoulder blades down the back. Nothing's really gonna move that much, but get that feeling that the shoulder blades are sliding down the back. Deep breaths here. Only go as far as your joints say to go. If you're in pain at all in your shoulders, back off. Deep breaths here. Neck is supported if you need it. It's definitely on the floor or a blanket. It's not hanging in the air. And then unwind the arms. Bring them out to the sides for just a moment. Okay, and then we're going to roll over onto our side. Relax here for a moment. Breathe. Okay, and then come up to sit. Okay, so sit comfortably. You can sit on a block in Virasana. You can sit cross-legged up on something. I just want you to notice the aliveness in your shoulders. And perhaps you have a little tenderness. That was a lot of work, especially if you have some, I know a couple of you have some shoulder stuff. So hopefully you've been able to take care of yourself through this and go to, not past your edges. But just notice as your palms face up, and you can interlace your hands or whatever you want to do, but have your palms up. And just notice if you have a more natural awareness of the back of your body. It might be buzzing, you might have some heat and buzzy going on. Just notice if your posture resists the downward spiral of a slump. If it feels more comfortable to be collarbones broad and shoulder blades down and toward each other. Can you soften here? Can you breathe here? Is your head able to balance comfortably? Come back to that feeling of a stout heart with the curtains open, front door open, with the collarbones naturally broader. Can you feel that this is an energetic support for the heart? Sometimes I think of the collarbones as the beams across your ceiling, with the heads of the arm bones being the walls, right? And so if you collapse your collarbone beams, the walls cave in on themselves. But if the collarbone beams have some good sturdiness to them, the walls don't have to work so hard. The arm bones don't have to work so hard. The center body doesn't have to work so hard. So just notice what's here for you. All right, and then we're going to come down and rest. So come onto your back. Let's do just a couple of simple things. So feet bent, knees bent. Take your feet, or bring your knees to your chest for a moment. Rock around, just make sure you're comfy. And then put your feet back down. A simple twist like we always do. Hips up, move them to the right. Knees up and drop them left. Take a deep breath into the stretch across your ribs and your chest. Turn your head. Make sure your hand is on the floor supported, wherever it wants to be. It can be cactus or straight out or down lower. But just make sure your arm is supported. And then inhale and lift back up. Feet on the floor. Let's lift the hips and scooch them the other way. Knees up, drop them right. Take a deep breath. Let the twist unwind itself. Take your time. Be patient. Breathe your way here. Notice if you twist more easily in one direction or the other, if you have patterns in your body. Does that pattern include your shoulders? Do you have, do you feel more open and more mobile in one side versus the other? And then inhale and lift the knees back up. Okay. Put your feet on the floor, neutral spine. Find your breath. Either bring your knees into your chest or grab onto your feet for happy baby pose. And feel free to rock a little bit if you want to do some rocking. All right, now you might need some props for this. We're going to take our feet into Supta Baddha Konasana, flat on the floor, our torso is. You can grab 2 blankets or blocks or nothing and put them underneath your knees. And you put your arms wherever you want them to be. But before we settle, lift your shoulders up, slide the shoulder blades down just a little bit until you find that you're facilitating the opening of your chest. And then place your arms anywhere you want. And you can change. If you get settled and you're like, nope, I don't like that, then change something. Let your breath travel through your body. To move into Shavasana, you can stay here if you're like, oh, I'm so happy I want to stay, then by all means, you can stay and just eventually straighten your legs out. But if you're ready to straighten your legs out, take any support that you need. And I would just back to our imagining selves, where we imagine things that really can impact us. Imagine there are sandbags on the heads of your arm bones, so that you have that sense of weight, not like pinning you down, no hands pinning you down, but a sense of weight that you can relax your way into the ease of this pose. Finding your breathing. Melting your body as best as you can, letting the arms feel heavy, letting the chest feel loose and free. Melting your pelvis and your legs. Feeling your breath, feeling your collarbones. Now they're just like stretched out on cool grass. There's no work. They're not supporting anything anymore. Just soft and free. Your face is soft, your eyes, your jaw. Your whole body, all of your bones, all of your sinew, everything is loose and free. So eventually coming into the breath again. Deep inhale into a soft, free body. Long exhale, melting into the earth. A couple more breaths like that. Breathe as if you do not have any restrictions upon you. Exhale and give yourself over. Start to move your body, maybe your toes wiggle, maybe you roll your ankles, whatever's working, whatever kind of movement you like. Maybe you can stretch your palms open one more time, up toward the sky, rooting your thumbs and index fingers into the floor. And release that, and maybe stretch your arms overhead. And then the knees into the chest. Come rolling over onto your side. And use your arms to lift yourself up. Before you bring your palms to your heart, let's just take a moment with your hands up or down on your knees. And just notice, are you still echoing that sense of openness? Can you imprint this so that when you start to slump and slouch, you have a new way, you have an imprint of something different and how it feels in your body. Let's bring the palms together at your heart and bow in. Offer your practice, your wide open heart, curtains drawn back, front door open, supported. What does your heart have to share? Just send it forth. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you, everyone.